Hi, I am Rhoda Raven, and I live now at DePaul House, which is part of the Jenkins community, and I'm very happy. It is a very, very nice place.
My name is Barbara Heim, and I'm a resident at DePaul House, and I've been here 13 years.
This is Annette Weber, and I live here at the DePaul House. I've been here 3 years, and
I was born at St. Agnes Hospital, September the 21st, 1924, so I am 91 years old Monday. Hi. And I found the neighborhood was very lovely. My aunts and my grandfather-in-law lived close by. In fact, when I went to school in the morning, sometimes I'd pass my grandfather's house, and he would say, "Rhoda, go home and tell your mother to put a longer dress on you." But I had a very good livelihood here. And I have four sisters and 2 brothers, and I'm the only one left now.
well, I had a wonderful childhood. See, with having all those, sisters, that one sister really was like my mother, and she just did do everything. She'd make sure my hair always was curled and all that, and so she was more or less my mother and my mother. But I had a wonderful mother and father.
My sister raised 7 of us, and then when she got married, her husband took all 7 of us, and the 2 of them raised us. And they were a very good sister and the best brother-in-law that a person could have. But it was just like any other childhood. You had to do what you were told to do. And if you weren't, then you were punished. Those days we were very, very strict with obeying our parents. So not having parents, I had to do that to my sister and brother-in-law because they took the place of our parents.
And all my sisters and brothers, my brothers were wonderful. If I wanted a bicycle, see, in those days, that's like, huh? Wanted a bicycle. They didn't do a thing because they worked. They all went and pitched in, got me a bike. Oh, I must have been a rip. I think I should have gotten smacked more than one. Anyway, they got me a bike, and I went around the block one time, mind you, one time. Put it on the side. I don't want it anymore. You could have probably knocked my block off.
It was different from the day, very different. But we had a good bringing up. And of course it was during the Depression. But my father always had a job, and we were very, very lucky.
My aunt and uncle had a farm, excuse me, and they didn't have children. So when we got off from school in the summertime, they would send me down there and I would help them on the farm. And it was beautiful. I didn't like a farm because it was lonely, because we didn't have any electricity, no personal facilities whatsoever. It was all work. And at night everything was cooked early so you could eat at night and go to bed early to get up early. But they wanted me to stay and live with them and let me have it, but I didn't want it because I didn't like being alone. I like to be around people because I like people.
But I mean, we'd go every Saturday night. We'd go, and you all don't know what the Alcazar is. You're too young. But anyway, it was called the Alcazar. It was a building downtown, all the way downtown. And there was some of us girls, you know, were my girlfriends. So I mean, I didn't go myself, girlfriends. But in those days, you could do that. You think you could do that today? You wouldn't dare. Not the way the world is today. But we'd go downtown, and there were soldiers, sailors, Marines. Oh, they were for the service, you know, men. And we'd go down there and dance with them, and dance until, you know, time's over. But we never let them take us home. No, that was no. And then we'd go home in the, you know, bus, streetcar, whatever it was those days. And then after I got off the streetcar, I'd have to run down the block, 3 blocks down, because that's in Hollandtown. I mean, there were big, long blocks. I had to run all the way down there. And I had high heels on. Of course, you wouldn't dare go without high heels, you know. And by the time I got to my corner, right there, because we lived on the corner, that's the way I would be, you know, until I got my breath. And then I would have a key to get in. And I mean, it wouldn't stay real late, but still, I mean, it was, I don't know, I don't even remember anymore, but it would be like maybe 11-ish, something like that. But oh, we loved it. It was so nice. Dancing and, you know, talking to them and laughing and, you know, and they seemed to like it too. So that's what we did on Saturday night.
Well, Hochscher Cone was a big department store in Edmondson Village. I was the night supervisor of the pay bill desk. And then after I had the children and they were grown, I went to work at American National Building and Loan down at Liberty and Lexington Street and had a very good position there too. Still am friends with a lot of people from there. Mm-hmm.
When I got out of school, my first job was down the Crown Court and Seal. And we used to make the tops for your beer bottles and soda bottles. And that's what I did until I met my husband.
Does your mother know you're out, Cecilia? Does she know that I'm about to steal ya? Oh my, when I look in your eyes, something tells me you and I should get together.
Well, it seemed to me that my mother had a sister in Catonsville, and she would say to my mother, Mary, I have a wonderful neighbor up the street, and that's what they did in those days, I guess, up the street. And oh, that man, and she's got a wonderful boy there, and all this and that. Well, to make a long story short, I wind up with him. We'd go out, and we didn't stay out late because, you know, you want to be, you know, they want to be right, you know, don't teach you right. And everything seemed to go well for me. And I got married when I was 18, and I had a wonderful husband. Couldn't ask for anything better because he was so good. And he worked for commercial credit, and he was very bright, and so much, you know, and he was away a lot because with his work, but that's what you had to do. That was part of, you know, when you got married, you took the good with the bad.
He came to the house to collect the money for the paper boy, and that's how we met. We went out every weekend because we were both in school. Mm-hmm. He was very, very nice. We were supposed to come here to live, and he died about 3 weeks before we came in, very suddenly. And we had a shore home down in Boulevard Park. And we went down every summer and every weekend that we could. We were very lucky, hon. Some people weren't as lucky during the Depression, but we were.
Since I met him, I was 19, and I'm 96 now. And I've never been with another man or kissed another man since I met him when I was 19. And after he's gone the same way, I've never been with another man. My girlfriend introduced me to him. She says, Barbara, I want you to meet a fella in the crowd. He's just as crazy as you are. So that's how I met him. Because he was just as poor as I was, and he was helping to take care of his mother. And I lived with my sister and brother-in-law, as I told you. So, but we got along fine, and we were married 57 and a half years before the Lord took him. And he went through World War II, was a POW for 19 months. So he went through a lot, but he was a very good man. And he took care, he was very good to all widows. Because he says, you will be a widow someday, and I want somebody to be good to you. He was a very good man.
We had a big wedding at Memorial Methodist Church and a big reception afterwards. And we got on a train for, I think it was in New York. And we had a honeymoon up there. Yeah, that's about all I can think of.
Well, let's see. I had a wonderful honeymoon. Well, I went to, let's see, where did we go? We didn't go like Niagara Falls. I think it was somewhere up in Canada where we went. I can remember that. But whatever it was wonderful. You know, I'm like starry-eyed. You know, when you first get married on honeymoon, if you're not happy, then you shouldn't be there. But, yeah, he was a good old guy.
How about a little kiss, Cecilia? Just a kiss you'll never miss, Cecilia. Why do we two keep on wasting time? Oh, Cecilia, say that you'll be mine.
I have 2 daughters and 5 grandchildren and 6 great-grandchildren. And I love them all.
I have 4 children. I had 5, but one I had to bury. And he was born, you know, born dead. And I only got 1 daughter, but the rest were the boys. And they're wonderful, every one of them. Wonderful, wonderful children. I really, really am blessed.
And I have 3 daughters, 6 grandchildren, 7 great-grandchildren, and 5 great-great-grandchildren. So I'm proud, and I love every one of them.
See, it's kind of hard for me to explain or to tell you. And it seemed like after, I mean, I had all these boys, and I thought, God, is anybody, any other way to, you know anybody, anything else? I finally had the daughter. Well, you can imagine, spoiled rotten. Because the boys, you know, they're, oh, my sister, oh. And, oh my. She was good. And my husband, oh, he spoiled her rotten.
I know I was in labor a long time, and I remember the nurse coming in to get the lady in the bed next to me. And I said, oh my God, it's me. She says, no, it's not you. I was in labor for 22 hours with my daughter, and she now works at the center where I was giving birth. I remember saying to my husband, are you disappointed it's a girl? And he says, only as long as it took me to walk down to the nursery.
But I was alone in the hospital because I didn't have the parents and I didn't have my husband. But my friends they allowed my friend, one friend, and his wife to come visit me because I had no others. But they were very good to me. As a matter of fact, the doctor even stayed in the delivery room with me because I had no one. No parents there, not a husband there. I was alone. So he stayed with me, which I thought was wonderful. And the day that we left, he kissed us both goodbye, which I thought was very unusual.
Yeah. Yeah. 35 years at the FBI. That's where she worked. Of course, she is working now. Yeah. But with this hurricane coming, I'm going to have to tell her, if it's going to look bad Tuesday, she ought to stay home.
And I told her all about her daddy, so when she would see him, she would know him. And she was 2 years old before she saw him. And she took right to him. Yes, he opened up his arms and she went in them. So it was lucky. Well, the Lord knew.
My daughter Cindy could not have children, and she worked in labor and delivery at St. Agnes. And well, she wanted children badly, and of course bringing them into the world. And she and her husband had a private adoption twice. She had one lady in very bad labor one time, and the lady said, "Cindy, did you have a hard time having your children?" She said, "Yes, I did." She says, "Mom, I meant getting the money together," because it costs quite a bit of money. But they're two lovely people. I don't know who was more blessed, my daughter and her husband or the two kids.
I was living with them till I got older, you know, because I am 96 years old now, and I don't get around much anymore. And I don't want for them to give up their job just to be home with me. That isn't right, because I've helped myself all my life, and I certainly can help myself now. More so, no, I have a nice apartment, and I live in a nice place. DePaul, you couldn't want any better.
In fact, now when they do so much for me, I'll say, "You don't have to do that." And they'll say, "Mom, look what you did for me." Yeah, I had a good life. I really did. I hate to see it come to an end.
So please take care of yourself, but most of all, have faith in the Lord. If you ever have any heartache or problems, go to Him no matter what religion you are.
Work hard. Don't be afraid to work. And be friendly to everyone and do what you could to help anyone.